All right, well, let's get going. Welcome to chair yoga. This is part of our Grow with GoGo series. We have free classes here on Wednesdays and Fridays, alternating between yoga and functional fitness. And today is yoga. Before we get started, just a quick reminder of what else GoGo offers. So in addition to these classes, you can access rides, get meals, grocery delivery, medication delivery, and home services. Like if there's anything in the house that you need done, changing a light bulb, sweeping up something, you can call GoGo to get help with that by calling one number, and that phone number is 855-464-6872. Also a reminder that we have a referral code at the bottom of your GoGo receipts. So you can give that code to a friend, and once they take their first service with GoGo, you will both get $10 in credit. We have a Facebook group. If you ever want to continue any of these conversations online, you can find us on Facebook, and we'll share a link in the chat for you if you'd like. And with that, we'll get going. So if we haven't met, I'm Adra. I teach the yoga and the functional fitness classes here at GoGo. The yoga class is mostly seated. The fitness class has a lot more standing. So just know that we have some variety. Each class is different. So there's a similar theme throughout the yoga class, but each yoga class doesn't mean we're going to do exactly the same stretches. So we change it up as we go. Let's see, what do we need? We need a chair. I have a chair without armrests. If all you have is a chair with armrests, that's fine. You could also use a couch. Generally, I prefer not a rolly chair for safety reasons, but if all you have is a rolly chair, that's fine. Just listen to your body, be safe. Find something to sit on because we're sitting for most of the class. Let's see. Does anybody remember the move of the week, the yoga move of the week? So this was not from last week because last week was functional fitness on Wednesday. Yes, Bertha.
Heel raises sitting.
Excellent. Yeah, it's heel raises sitting. Did you get to try that out at all?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Good, good. I'm looking to see if anyone else do it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, good. Judy, I see you raising. Great. I can't see everyone's video all at once, so I don't, if I missed you, it's not because I don't want to see you. Okay. Okay. Great. I'm also seeing a kitty cat. I love that.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I love it. I love cats. I wish I had a cat, but our landlord wouldn't allow it. So no cats for me, but I am happy to see someone else with a kitty cat. Anyways, I digress. Let's get moving. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let me see. Let me just quickly. Yeah. So in the chat, we have our Facebook group. So I should be your big screen. If I am not your big screen, sometimes you have to adjust your settings. So you can go to the top right-hand corner of your Zoom, and there's a little box when you move your cursor over there, and you can pick view. There's a thing that pops up that says view. And if you pick speaker view, you'll see me. If you pick gallery view, you'll see everybody else. So it's up to you what you want to do, but just know that you can adjust so that I am your big screen if that's something you want. All right, let's have a seat. Go ahead and have your seat if you're not already sitting. We're just gonna take a moment, rock a little side to side, just settling in, feeling your sits bones grounding to one side and then the other. And then go ahead and find even weight right to left. So feel both of those sits bones, those bones in your bum, rounding down into the ground. And then begin to take some circles with your torso. And circle the other way. I'm gonna scooch because I'm right on a creaky spot. Ooh, okay, much better. All right, and coming back to center. Let's do a couple shoulder rolls forward. And a couple shoulder rolls back. And then allow your shoulders to drop. Sitting nice and tall, go ahead and close the eyes or let your gaze soften to the ground. We'll begin with a little meditation. So just taking a few moments to check in with how you are doing. So noticing what's going on mentally, what kind of thoughts are showing up right now? Also noticing what's going on emotionally. Are there any feelings present? And then also checking in physically, what's going on with your physical body? Any aches, pains, blank spots, areas that feel good? How is your physical body? And then begin to tune into your breath. Maybe first, just noticing generally, where do you feel the breath in the body? So as you breathe, what parts of the body do you become aware of? Can you feel the air entering and exiting the nostrils? Can you feel movement in the chest and the rib cage? Can you feel anything in your abdomen? And see now if you can slow your breath down just a tiny bit. So finding slightly longer inhales and longer exhales. And so throughout class, we'll use our breath as our teacher and as an anchor. So if you ever find that you are holding your breath, that might be a sign that whatever we're doing is maybe a little bit challenging. So maybe that means you back off a little bit, you slow down, you do a little less. You might also notice when your breath becomes really rapid and hard to control. That's also a sign that maybe you slow down and try and get your breath to be smooth again, to be even.
As you're ready, you can go ahead and blink your eyes open if your eyes are closed. And we'll inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling, reaching tall. And then exhale, palms touch, hands lower to the heart. Again, we'll inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Palms touch, hands to the heart. One more time. Inhale, circle the arms out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. With the hands to the heart, interlace your fingers. So we're just putting the webbing of the fingers together and push those palms forward, stretching those forearms. So the palms are facing forward, you're stretching those forearms, getting a nice stretch in the hands as well. And then releasing the hands, we'll create fists. So we'll put our thumbs inside of our fingers. So we're making fists, thumbs inside, fingers around, and circle those wrists. And circle your wrists the other way. Just noticing any tight bits. Great, and then we'll leave those wrists alone, hands come down, and we'll do a little head motion. So let's rotate the head, no, turning it right and left. And just notice how far you go. Watching that you're not moving the rest of the spine, that it's just the neck and head that are moving. Just to see what is my range when I keep my torso still, and I move just my head and cervical spine or neck part of the spine. And then we'll nod the head yes, looking up and down. Moving in a range that feels good and safe to the body. Noticing any tight parts. And then bringing your head back to center. Let's bring the right ear towards the right shoulder, a little side stretch of the neck. And then other ear to shoulder. One more time each side, ear to shoulder, first side. And other ear, second side. And then back to center. Let's go ahead and turn the head one more time, right and left, and just see, does it feel the same? Does it feel different? Sometimes after stretching the neck, it feels a little different. Today for me, it feels the same, but maybe for you, it feels different. All right, let's come back to center and we'll inhale, creep those shoulders up towards the ears. So we're moving those shoulder blades a little bit out and up as the arm bones move up. And then exhale, let those shoulders drop down. So just feeling that your shoulder blades have a really big range of motion. Your shoulders have a nice range of motion. So inhale, shoulders creep up. You're creating earrings with your arm bones for your ears. And then exhale, shoulders drop, arms get heavy. Inhale, shoulders lift. And exhale, shoulders lower. So keep going and feel that you can lift those shoulders up towards the ears without creating tension in the neck. Is it possible to lift those arm bones and those shoulders and the collarbone without clenching the neck? Right, so some tension has to happen because otherwise the muscles can't move, or the muscles can't move the bones, but seeing if it can be relatively soft and easy. Let's just do two more. And then letting those shoulders drop. We'll inhale, pull the chest forward. We're doing a seated cow pose. So sternum lifts, head lifts. We're stretching the front of the body. And then exhale, round the back, drop your tail, tuck your chin, stretch your back body. So entire back of the spine gets a nice stretch. Inhale, chest forward, arms go back. And exhale, body rounds. Keep going. I'll just turn sideways so you get a different view. You don't need to move. You can stay here with your arms down on your legs. Or if you'd like, you can add the arms. So as you inhale and the chest comes forward, arms can open out to the side. And then exhale, as you round your back, arms can come forward in front of you. Inhale, chest lifts, maybe those palms reach out to the side. And then when you round, if you'd like, you can internally rotate those arm bones, bringing the backs of the hands to touch. So the arm rotation is just an add-on. You don't need to do it. If you want to keep it simple, it's just inhale, arms open, chest lifts. Exhale, arms come forward, chest rounds. And then if you want to add that rotation in the arms, the palms face kind of forward and then to the side walls as the arms are out to the side. And then your arms flip to face back as the backs of the hands touch. Again, if that's too much, skip the rotation. Find that breath, few more. Should feel good. Maybe trying to move in those stickier spots that don't round or arch as easily. All right, and then coming back to center, releasing the arms. And do a little side bending. Go nice and slow here. We'll inhale, side bend to one side, reaching your fingertips down, feeling the stretch along the waist and the rib cage. And then exhale, keep your hips rooted, lift yourself back up to sit tall. Inhale, we side bend other direction. Exhale, lifting up. Inhale to one side. Exhale, back up. Keep going at your own pace, taking your time, noticing what parts of your body feel the stretch. Noticing if it's easier to bend down to one side compared to the other. Maybe one more time each side. And bring yourself back to center once you're nice and even. Once you're back at center, imagine that you're hugging something between your knees. Maybe there's a block or a pillow. If you actually have one, you could stick one between your legs. And I want you to keep this magnetic energy between your knees to sort of pull towards each other so that your legs are a little bit fired up. And we're trying to create some stability in the legs so that we can find mobility in the more upper spine. Whereas if we let our legs move, then we're going to find a lot of mobility in the lower spine. Nothing wrong with that, but you probably have enough mobility down there. So I want you to imagine that you're squeezing something between your knees or put something between your legs. You could also just squeeze your legs together if that helps. So knees are magnetized together. They're glued together or energetically glued together. From there, you're going to try and twist from the upper spine. So I put my hands on my chest because I can think, okay, this is the part of the body that I'm rotating. So lower body stays stable, rotate your upper spine, twisting. Have a peek at your knees, have your knees moved. If one knee is winning the race, if one knee is forward, that means you're moving your low back and your pelvis, not your upper spine. So reset, feel those knees magnetize or adjust, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then twisting that upper body. Again, peek at your knees, make sure they're not moving. And then you can lower those hands down wherever you'd like. You're twisted to whatever direction you want. Letting those shoulders be a little bit soft. The shoulders are helping you, potentially. It might feel like they're working to help you rotate, but seeing if they can be somewhat relaxed. Go ahead and unwind back to center. Again, remind yourself of squeezing those knees together, whether they're actually touching or not, or if you're holding something, and then rotate the other way. And again, peek at your legs once you've rotated to your max, right? So we're rotating as far as we can go, and then check out those legs. Make sure the knees aren't shifted. and then hands come down. It doesn't matter how far you go, so it's not about the range. If it feels really tiny, that's fine. Stay in that tiny spot, but keep the form so that you can actually stretch those parts of the body that don't get stretched naturally throughout the day, or as easily throughout the day. Nice smooth breath. And then back to center. Now you're gonna let your legs move so we can create some contrast so you can feel the difference. So go ahead and rotate your first direction and rotate as far as you can, but then have a peek at your legs and just notice, what do your legs do when you try and rotate as far as you can? Totally fine, nothing wrong with it. Just feel that twist. It feels a little different. Maybe a little more satisfying because you can go further. And then back to center, and then rotate the other way. And again, just let your legs move, let the body adjust in whatever way it wants when you're trying to twist as far as you can to your second direction. Again, peek at your legs just so you can see, okay, one leg is almost certainly winning the race, one knee is coming forward. Again, nothing wrong with that. You're just twisting in areas that probably twist quite a lot. And then back to center. All right, let's just do a few extensions and roundings of the spine. So just lifting the chest forward and then rounding just a few times. We're going to go back to that rotation just so that we can really learn that for ourselves, but we'll change our arm position. So sitting nice and tall, let's take the fingertips to the shoulders and the elbows out to the side. From here, we're going to magnetize those knees. So either they're not touching or they're touching, but they have a relationship. Again, if it's really tricky, I recommend that you touch or you squeeze something between the legs, or you can just think about energetically pulling them towards each other, but that's harder. And then find that rotation, keeping the ribs relaxed. So there's a difference between rotating with your chest lifted or rotating and side bending. See if you can let yourself really just truly rotate without adding any other motions of the spine. And then again, just give yourself a little peek at your knees and then lift the head back up. And then if you want, let your eyes follow the rotation. So if you're rotating to the right, you're going to look to the right with your eyes. You don't necessarily need to move your head, but you're going to turn your eyes to look to the right, and that might allow you to go a little further. If you're twisted to the left, then you'll do the opposite. You'll let your eyes look to the left. Again, making sure those knees are right next to each other. Come back to center. If you want, take a moment, let those arms come down, shake it off. Take a breath. And we go to the other side. Knees are magnetized in whatever way you want. Fingertips on the shoulders. Watch that you're not arching or rounding or side bending, right? The spine stays in this nice tall column. We're just rotating. It's just one item of spinal motion. We're just rotating without moving those knees. Reducing any back bending or rounding or side bending. Once you've found your max, feel free to use your eyes to look to whatever direction you're twisting to maybe help you go a little bit further without losing the form. And come back to center, release. Woo, shake it off. Okay. Let's give our legs a little bit of love. Done a lot of upper body. Let's stretch that right leg forward in front of you. I'm going to go sideways, just gives you a little better view. So right leg straightens in front of you, left knee is bent. We're going to point and flex this right foot, moving through the ankle. And then flexing the foot so the toes are facing up towards the ceiling. We're going to move towards the stretch. So as you inhale, you'll lean a little bit forward. You'll feel the stretch intensify in the back of the leg. And then exhale, sit tall again. Inhale, leaning forward. And then exhale, sitting back up. Keep going, follow your breath. And the next time you're sitting tall, pause. We're going to point our foot, so toes are going to come down to the ground. We're gonna do the same motion. It's going to feel a little different with the toes down. So now the foot is pointed, the ball of the foot and toes are down on the ground if possible or close to the earth. So instead of the foot being flexed, or dorsiflexed with the toes up, we're now with the ball of the foot, the entire foot down. We inhale, lean forward, and then exhale, sit back up. So keep going, it just feels different. You might feel like you can go a little bit further with your torso. You might feel a stretch in the front of the leg now, kind of by the ankle, kind of front of the right shin ankle. In addition to the back of the upper right thigh. Or maybe just one. And then we're going to hold the stretch. So you can hold the stretch either leaning forward or sitting tall, whatever gives you a good stretch. And then you're gonna move through the ankle if you want. So you can stay still with either the foot pointed or flexed, or if you want to, you can go back and forth a few times to figure out where you feel like you'll get the best stretch or what feels most interesting for you. I'm gonna keep my foot pointed just because I almost always flex my foot when I do this stretch, so it's just different. But feel free to play around, do one for a few seconds and then do the other. Go ahead and lift yourself back up. Let's rebend that right knee, windshield wiper those knees side to side, so shake it off. And we'll go to the other side. So other leg, left leg straightens in front of you. Right knee is bent, so we have a straight left leg, a bent right knee, and we'll move through that left ankle as best you can. So pointing, flexing the foot. If you need to move the knee as well to do that point and flex, that's fine. Pops and cracks are allowed. Next time your foot is flexed, so toes up towards the ceiling, you'll pause. We'll inhale, lean forward, feel the stretch in the back of the leg. And then exhale, sit tall. Just forward and back here at your own pace. Finding that breath. Keeping the breath moving. I don't really mind if you switch which movement the breath is on, but see if you can keep that breath going. So inhaling for one of the directions and exhaling for the other. And the next time you're sitting tall, we'll point the foot. So toes down, ball of the foot down. So the entire bottom of the foot tries to find the ground as you come forward and back again. Again, finding that breath, maybe you inhale forward and exhale back up, or just do whatever works for you. Okay, next time you're sitting tall, pause. And then decide where you want to hold the stretch. So you can hold the stretch sitting tall with the foot pointed or flexed, or leaning forward with the foot pointed or flexed. So it's up to you. We'll hold the stretch. And again, if you want to move back and forth between different variations, that's totally fine here. So you're welcome to point and flex the foot as we hold the torso position. One more breath. All right, go ahead and come on up, rebend that left knee, windshield wiper those knees side to side, shake it off. We're gonna move into a wide stance, so we'll move those feet out nice and wide. You can sit forward towards the front edge of the chair, especially if you have armrests, that's going to be the easiest, or you can sit further back in your chair. It just depends on your chair and what feels comfortable for you. You don't want your feet on the ground, at least the balls of the feet, so just try and find a place where you feel like your feet are grounded. If I scooch back, it's actually easier for me to get my feet down because the back of the chair is a little bit lower down. So find a position where you can get at least part of your feet on the ground with this wide stance. So knees are wide. Try and track those knees with the feet or the feet with the knees. So they're going along the same diagonal line. We're not letting something knock in. So here you can see my knees are falling in. My feet are kind of wider or turned in a different angle than my knees. So you want the knees to follow that same line as the feet. From here, let's lean to the right, and you can have your right hand on your knee. You can stay right there. So just know that that is an option. We'll add some arm movement. If you want a little more, you could bring your forearm to an armrest if that's accessible, or your forearm to your leg. So any of those positions work just fine. That left arm can stay down. You can reach out to the side, up towards the ceiling, or overhead. So we're looking for some side stretch. But you can get the side stretch with your hand on your leg instead of your forearm. So just know that you have options. The focus is breathing into the side of the body, breathing into the waist, breathing into the ribs, noticing if you're knocking those knees in, keeping those knees lined up with the feet. Reaching those fingertips as you ground your hips down. So both hips should feel really grounded in your chair, even though you're reaching your fingertips. And then we're going to round our back a little bit and lower the left hand on the right thigh. You can do hand or forearm. So you might end up being both hands on that right thigh. You might be both forearms, or you might be one hand, one forearm. Right, so whatever works. We're sort of rounding a little, leaning to the right. Try and keep that left hip grounded. So as you bring yourself to this right leg, you might find that that left hip really lifts. Bring it down. If you can't keep it down when you're on your forearms, then you should be on your hands. So I want the hips down while you lean over that right leg. All right, lift yourself back up. Take a moment, just feel the difference right to left. We'll go to the other side. So left hand on your leg. You can stay there, left hand on the leg. You could bring your forearm to an armrest or your forearm to your thigh. Again, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. Find what works. That free arm, that right arm can stay down, go out to the side, up towards the ceiling, or overhead. Again, whatever works. Nice smooth breaths. Knees are lining up with those feet as best you can. Sits bones, so those bones in your bum are still grounded, especially that right hip, that side that's being stretched. Don't let it lift off the chair. If it's lifting off the chair, then you just back off, right? You can do a little bit less. You're really thinking about grounding that right hip as you reach through those right fingertips so that you can really stretch that entire right side body. And then we're going to round our back, turn, look towards that left leg, and then lower that right hand to the left leg. And again, you can be two hands, elbows can be bent or straight. You can have one forearm down or the other, or both. Sits bones are grounded. So hips are grounded, you're really trying to keep that seat. You might feel that this side feels very different from the other side. Just noting that, what's different about it. All right, and go ahead and lift yourself back up. Woo. And walk those feet back together. We're moving to our standing part of class. The standing part of class is only for a couple of minutes. So if you don't want to stand, you can stay seated and sort of take the same ideas in your seated position. And really, there's no right or wrong. So make it work for yourself, make it work for your body. No judgment. So if you'd like, you can stand behind your chair for a little bit of support. I'm going to turn and face towards you just so you can see better. But please grab onto a chair nearby if you need it, right? You don't need to move your orientation or position. Just, make sure you have stuff nearby in case you lose your balance. You can always grab on. We're going to have a look at our feet for a moment, and let's take the feet anywhere from 4 to 6 inches apart. So they're pretty narrow, relatively narrow, 4 to 6 inches apart. I want the toes facing forward if that's possible. The knees are tracking forward as well. And let yourself rock a little forward and back. So just rocking forward and back. Weight shifts onto the toes, weight shifts back onto the heels, but we're not lifting up onto the tippy toes. So I'll give you another view. All right, it's a little rock forward and back. But you see that my feet are mostly grounded. So there's a moment when I lean forward, my toes crunch. And as I lean back, my toes lift a little bit. But the rest of the foot, the ball of the foot and the heel are still grounded. Just rocking a little forward and back. And then searching for some even weight front to back. So can you find that point where your body has the same amount of weight forward as it does back? So you can allow that rocking to maybe get a little bit smaller to try and find that. It's just interesting. Can you feel that? And then rock yourself right and left. So as you rock to the right, you'll feel the outer right foot, maybe more of the inner left foot. And as you rock to the left, you'll feel a little bit more of the outer left foot, inner right foot. As you rock side to side, can you maintain that even weight front to back? And so if you're seated, you can do the same idea with your sits bones, right? You can let yourself sort of sway right to left and forward and back and feel. It might feel a little bit smaller, but that's totally fine. And then back to center. And then we'll do circles. So let yourself lean forward. And then over, I'll mirror you, over to the right. And then back into the heels. Over to the left. And forward. Again, to the right. You're trying not to bend anywhere except for at the sort of the feet and the ankles. The rest of the body keeps its same form. Next time you're forward, feel two circles the other way. I'll let you go at your own pace. You can go faster or slower than me. And once you're done with your 2 circles, and there's no rush, you'll come back to that even weight, front to back, right to left. Is that possible? Can you find that even weight, front to back, right to left? Feeling as though your hips are above your ankles, your rib cage is above that pelvis, and the head is stacked over the spine. Let your palms rotate to face forward. You can spread those fingers, and in yoga, this is called Tadasana, mountain pose. Nice, tall, standing, grounded feet, even weight. Two deep breaths here. And then from here, we'll go into chair pose. So you'll bend your knees, hips go back, arms can come forward. Feel free to grab a hold of your chair. So we're maintaining some of these ideas of noticing the weight on the feet. Now, the weight on the feet is gonna shift for our chair. And you're going to allow more weight to shift back into the heels than into the toes. So let more weight go back into the heels than into the toes. All 10 toes are facing forward though, knees are tracking forward. You're feeling free to hold on to the chair or hover your hands above the chair. 3 more breaths, you might feel those legs burning. And then really push those feet into the earth to rise up. One more stretch here in standing. Place your hands on the back of your chair or find a wall or a table. And you'll walk yourself back into an upside down L or a chair dog or a wall dog. So it's just different ways of calling it. You're bringing your torso parallel-ish to the ground, or it can be slightly lifted. So if you can't bring it all the way parallel, that's fine. Legs can be straight or bent. As best you can though, your hips are going to be above your heels or above your ankles. Your arms can be straight. If that's not possible, then bend those elbows, no problem. Couple of deep breaths. And then lifting your head, walking yourself forward. Taking a deep breath, and we'll come back to sit. Coming back to your chair. All right, let's do we have time for one more quick stretch here before we finish up with our meditation. Let's do a figure 4. I just love the stretch, so we do it almost every time. We have lots of options. So right ankle can cross over the left ankle. You can let that knee open out. What we want here though is to find this rotation in the thigh. So you do want to let that knee open out to the side. If that's not possible, you can cross your legs. This will be a little bit different. You'll feel more stretch on the outer part of the hip. Or you're going to cross that right ankle over the left thigh. First, whatever variation you pick, sit nice and tall. See if you can sit yourself as tall as possible. And then if you need more stretch, you can allow yourself to lean a little bit forward to give yourself more stretch. We're only here for a couple of breaths. All right, lift your torso up if you're leaning forward, undo the legs, shake them off. And we'll switch sides. So crossing that left ankle over the right and allow that left knee to open. So really finding that that knee can open out and you can rotate that thigh. That's option 1. Option 2, you cross the legs. And again, you'll feel the stretch maybe more on the outer thigh if you do that. Or cross your ankle over your thigh for more traditional figure 4. It doesn't matter what variation you pick. First, whatever variation you pick, feel yourself sitting tall in that position. Take a breath or 2. And then if, and only if you need more stretch, you can allow yourself to lean forward a bit. Go ahead and sit yourself back up. If you're leaning forward, undo the legs, shake them off. And then we'll take a moment to sit for a minute or two. So get yourself comfortable. You can sit forward in your chair, or you can even lean back into your backrest if that's best for you. Let your arms rest in your lap. Go ahead and close the eyes or let your gaze soften to the ground. And tune back into your breath. Nice smooth inhales and smooth exhales. Taking a moment to check back in mentally. What thoughts are present? Emotionally, what feelings do you have in this moment? And physically, how does your body feel? Let's take a deep inhale together in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. One more time, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. Palms touch in front of the heart. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking time to take care of your mind and your body. Namaste. Thank you everybody for joining. Our move of the week is rotating. So we spend a lot of time talking about rotation at the beginning of class. And so I just want you to think about every time you twist in your life, which is, is a decent amount, notice what parts of your body are doing the twist. Is it really your hips doing the twist? Is it mostly your head? So thinking about rotation, and you can be mindful about it and do actual twists, or just every time you twist your body, pause for a second, freeze frame and go, oh, what am I doing in that twist? Am I kind of shifting my ribs over as I twist? Am I side bending as I twist? Just notice, bring that awareness of twisting into the next week or two. So now we have some time if you want to ask. You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat. Questions about yoga or functional fitness. If you have GoGo questions, you want to email GoGo. I usually don't have the GoGo answers.
Adria,
Yeah,
Ross here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. I've always enjoyed your yoga, and then I kind of mix my Feldenkrais with it. Instead of the single stage that you do with the twisting motions when we start out, I do the twisting motions. The second stage is that I twist, but instead of turning my head, as far as I can go, I stay straight and look at you, but I still do the twist. And then the third stage, I release that, I turn, and then I add what you mentioned about the eyes. At the last, you turn as much as you can in the last motion. You turn your eyes as far, twist your eyes to as far as to the left or to the right, and use those three stages there. Everything else is just the same as you, but so I'm still thinking subtly you're mixing all that stuff, because it reminds me of all the skiing. I get my poles out now because you say extend your arms out in front, and I'm going into the dynamic ski position. So we're going to be ready for the slopes, Adria. Pretty fun stuff.
That's awesome. And Ross, I love that you are incorporating other techniques that you know into class so that you get a little bit of everything, that you get to enjoy your Feldenkrais with the yoga. So I love that.
Well,
Thanks for sharing.
you're doing it too. You're just doing it in kind of different combinations. So I'm just adding an extra stage because when I look forward and do the twisting, you're skiing. I'm looking down when I'm racing. I'm looking at ski poles, 2 or 3 down the hill, and so I'm looking there and even though my body's twisting, I got to stay steady to keep my eyes level, to make sure I can race and not miss a pole.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I love that you can incorporate this to make your skiing better.
Well, thank you for getting me racer ready.
You are so
3, 2, 1.
all right, everybody. It's time to wrap up. It is so good to see you as always. So hopefully I see you next week or on Friday. And great, thank you, Francis. I see your email in the chat, and then Turid, I also see your email in the chat too, so we can have a look. Thank you so much. Great to see you. Play with your twists this week, and I'll see you next time.
See you next week.
Thanks, everyone.